Go ahead, you're live.
Hey, Norm. Enjoying your program tonight. I wanted to ask you, you said this was a Wednesday night that you went to this Baptist church?
Yes.
And they were passing the bucket?
Yes, they were passing well, they needed a bucket. They were passing the plate, and somebody else made the observation that it was the plate was so full that it was falling out, which I guess, look at the big smile on his face there. He likes it.
Well, what does the
They
Bible
need a bucket.
passing the plate on a Wednesday night?
Well, that's just it. There is no authority. There's no authority in God's Word to pass the plate on Wednesday night. Not any at all.
Right.
And so, anytime you read about the collection in the New Testament, it's clear that it's in the assembly on the first day of the week. For example, in 1 Corinthians chapter 16. And I know that you're familiar with the verse.
Oh, yeah.
In 1 Corinthians chapter 16 and verses 1 and 2, it says, "Now concerning the collection for the saints, as I have given order to the churches of Galatia, even so do ye, upon the first day of the week. Let every one of you lay by him in store."
Most of these churches around here, it's become mostly about the money.
It's about the money.
And it's a business. And that's why he's not wanting to answer your questions, because you're going to close his business down.
Well, I wonder that sometimes. I wonder if the reason that we don't have the denominational preachers coming on the air with us to defend their denominational doctrines, the reason we don't have open discussions in their assemblies when we go there, and people say, oh, well, you're not supposed to argue. Well, that's what the Apostle Paul did when he went in the synagogues. The word, and I was going to look at that here in just a little bit, but the word that it uses for the Apostle Paul going into the synagogues, when it says that he went in and reasoned with them, that word means to argue. Yeah. To debate, to discuss.
Well, I'll tell you, Norm, I look at things, I try to find parallels in things, and I have health issues myself, and when I go to doctors and I have one doctor tell me something, I like to get a second opinion about something. I don't like to just take the first doctor's word for it.
That's right.
And if I were to see a doctor and tell him that I wanted a second opinion, and he told me don't ask any questions, get out.
That's right.
I would run out.
That's right.
I would run after the doctor that is willing to give me a second opinion and run away from the doctor that don't want me to get a second opinion.
Well, I really appreciate that illustration, because it just shows that people are more concerned with their physical bodies than they are with their immortal soul. Now, your physical body is going to die. It's going to die and go back to the dust from whence it came, but your immortal soul is going to live forever, and people would not take a doctor's word for anything that told them, now don't you go get a second opinion. You better just take my word for it. Don't ask me no questions. You just listen to what I'm saying and you do what I say. People wouldn't tolerate a doctor like that, but they'll tolerate a preacher like that.
When they go to the bank and they're going to buy a CD, they compare.
That's right.
Banks. But what it is they fall in love with the preacher. And they're gonna swallow what that preacher's selling them, even though it's poison.
I think that has a lot to do with it too. It's just it's preacher worship. It's bowing down to men rather than being servants of Christ. And that's why I went to that verse where the Apostle Paul said, if I still please men, I would not be a servant of Christ, because it's always easier to go along with the crowd. And if you just go along with the crowd, you just go along with what the folks want, you tickle their ears, you give them what they want so that you get what you want out of them. That's what it says in Romans 16, that they do it for their own belly. Then, you're never going to be a servant of Christ. You're only going to be concerned about making sure that you keep the people happy, don't offend anybody, don't get anybody upset. And when someone calls you out on it, you kick them out. Get rid of them.
I believe there's a verse that talks about putting the men above what's written.
Yeah, in 1 Corinthians, that's right. Not to think of men. 1 Corinthians chapter 4, not to think of men more highly than you ought, not to go beyond what is written. The Apostle Paul says that in the division in Corinth, that he used himself and Apollos as examples to show them not to go beyond what is written because of their affection for these men. That's right. You're right.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time. I'm going to watch the rest of your show.
Well, thanks for calling. I appreciate it.